It's really great to be today here with you. And first of all, I would like to express my gratitude, personally mine and of all the delegation of the Foreign Affairs Ministry of the Republic of Serbia, for warm welcome in Vienna. This is the second day of my first official visit to your beautiful country. I have used the first one to meet with our colleague, Minister in charge of Digital and Economic Affairs, but also to meet the people of a numerous Serbian diaspora here in Austria, and also to make some good meetings with the people from the business society of Austria. The first meeting we've had today has been an excellent opportunity to exchange our views on our bilateral cooperation, which we are considering as a very good one, and which is witnessed not only on the level of the highest and high-rank meetings, but if we would like to see the real cooperation existing between two countries, then we are going to take a look over communication of our business societies, but also people-to-people communication, which is good. The Austrian enterprises, Austrian companies are the second biggest investors in Serbian economy. During the last 10 years, 2,585 million euros were invested in Serbian economy. 733 Austrian companies are employing more than 22,000 employees in Serbia. And what I've already seen during the last day here are the new interests by new and the other Austrian companies which are not present in Serbia to invest even more. So we've been discussing about cooperation between two countries. We've been especially trying to find out the best framework for our cooperation in the future, which is going to give us the opportunity to make the best recovery of our economies in post-pandemic period. But also we've been talking about some other really important issues for the communication and cooperation of two countries. I use that opportunity to thanks to my dear Austrian colleague, but also to your government, to your Prime Minister, for the firm, consistent and principled support for the accession process of the Republic of Serbia to the European Union. It was confirmed also during the last IGC, and that was something about which our President has been stated loudly and publicly, and with words full of gratitude to the Prime Minister Kurz and your government. So Austria is supporting Serbian accession process. It was confirmed today during our meeting, and we are grateful to you, and of course that we are interested to profound our cooperation in this format too. We have been also talking about normalization dialogue between Belgrade and Pristina. I have used that opportunity to inform Alexander, to inform my dear Austrian colleague about our position. Our position is clear. It means that we are completely devoted to the dialogue between Belgrade and Pristina, that we do not see any other reasonable way for searching the solution of this tough and difficult issue as one of the most important Serbian national and state issues, and that we are in the process because we believe that the comprehensive solution can be the best one. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that one is going to get everything, the other one is going to get anything, but it means that we need to search for the solution which is going to be sustainable, which is going to be applicable, and which is going to be supported by both Belgrade and Pristina. Is it possible to find that solution? I think it is. Is it easy? For sure it is not easy, but we, in spite of all the differences of views, I think that we are considering the dialogue as the best way to find out the solution. I have also used this opportunity, this meeting, to talk with my dear colleague about our diaspora in Austria, to talk about hundreds of thousands of Serbs and people of Serbian origin who are now Austrian citizens, to thank to my dear colleague for everything what they are getting from the Austrian state and for all the understanding existing between two nations and between two people. Last but not least, and that's something I would like to say at the end of this statement, that I hope that this meeting is going to give us the opportunity also to continue our cooperation. And it would be great, dear Alexander, to welcome you to Belgrade, in Belgrade, until the end of this year, and to continue talking about all these mutually important, but more of the mostly mutually beneficial issues for both countries and for both nations. Our expectations of Slovenian presidency over the European Council are pretty much high, because we are talking about one country with which and one nation with which we have been sharing the same way of life, the same country for 8 decades. So Slovenia was the first ex-Yugoslav republic which entered the European Union, which is the best example how a country can benefit and how the citizens of that country can benefit from the accession process. And let me just conclude that maybe our Slovenian friends can understand us much better than some other European partners. So they are having much interest to support the enlargement process of the European Union and to reaffirm their statement that European Union is not complete without Western Balkans within its borders. On the other hand, we are continuing our reforms. During the last, and that's something what am I going to inform Alexander during the next meeting, that during the last 8 months, we have succeeded to make many crucially important reforms of our society, especially in the field of rule of law, of freedom of speech, which I know that is important for the Austrian position, but also you can see that our economic reforms and our social reforms are the best in the region, and they are actually pushing us ahead. So we are continuing our reforms. Is EU going to support that, to valorize that in the right way? We are going to see. I know that EU is overweighted with many internal problems, but you know, you cannot just speak about Western Balkans where there is a migration issue as an outstanding issue, and when you need support from Western Balkan countries because migrants are using our territory to get the EU. That means that we are sharing the same problems. And if we are sharing the same problems, that means that we can also plan our mutual, let's say, our joint future and everything what we are also going to share in the future. You've mentioned the Kosovo and Metohija issue. And if I'm quoting you well, you've said Serbia is not recognizing Kosovo as it is. You know what's the problem? The problem is that there is difference of views between different countries what it is. You have been mentioning and you have been talking about that point looking from the Austrian angle of view. So the Republic of Austria recognized so-called Kosovo's independence. But in European Union, you still have 5 member states who are not recognizing it as a state. but as a southern province of the Republic of Serbia, like it is defined in our constitution. You still have many countries in the international community supporting Serbian position. And that's actually the reason why we are having all these negotiations. And do you know what? I would like to add more. And we haven't been talking about that, Alexander, so sorry for mentioning this. It is just in the answer. It's just in the answer of the lady's question. But I know that there are countries trying to show that it is some completely unique case. And that it's prohibited now on the Balkans to talk about each solution which is tackling borders, but it hasn't been prohibited to talk about changement of borders in 2008, when some countries recognized changement of borders of the Republic of Serbia, internationally recognized. Also recognized through the respective resolutions of the Security Council, United Nations Security Council. All we are having our interests in the region. Our interest is to maintain the dialogue process, to implement all the agreements made in the dialogue process. And I would like just to tell you that we have implemented everything what we've agreed on 3,009 days ago in Brussels. There is only one obligation existing on Pristina side, and it was the only one obligation of Pristina within the negotiating process before the Brussels Agreement. That's to constitute the community of Serb municipalities. And Pristina is refusing to do that 3,009 days after the agreement was made. Everybody knows that one of the basic rules in international relations is that pacta sunt servanda. So what is agreed, that has to be implemented. We are believing still that we have to negotiate, we have to search for the compromise. Unilateralism is not and cannot be the basic rule of international relations. From our side, and I know that there are differences of views between Alexander's official view, my official view, which are different, if I may say, only regarding this issue. But for us, it was unilateralism. And that's what we are talking about. Before, and sorry, I think it would be the best to stop now answering at your question, but thank you for the question. Once again, I would like to say that we are considering the dialogue as the best way to search for the compromise. If somebody is expecting for Serbia to recognize so-called independence, and that is going to be the only one and the unique sense of all the negotiations, then the one saying that to you is cheating you. It is not going to happen in such a way. And it is not going to happen in a way in which Serbia, as I said, is going to be shamed. You know what Kosovo and Metohija means to our country, what does it mean to our people. And still, there are more than 100,000 Serbs living on Kosovo and Metohija. They are alive people. They have a right to have a good future, and they are not having it at this particular moment. What we need just much more, we need understanding, and thank you, Alexander, for the understanding. Thank you for the support given to the dialogue process. Thank you for the understanding and the support to the Washington Agreement, after which you have stopped your activities you've had before, because you are respecting agreements, like we are doing the same. But if there is another way to search for the compromise, please tell me. I do not see it without negotiations and without dialogue.